Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty big news because people are upset, PlayStation users are molding, and of course, when it comes to the internet world, everyone is just not happy when it comes to Twitter, Reddit, and everything else in between. But at least for this reason, this is a somewhat, rightfully so, reason to be exhausted, I'd almost say, for the gaming universe, because a lot of times people are very much on the bare bones. Companies just want to make as much money as possible, and when people notice this, a lot of people start throwing some hands on the internet realm. So to talk about now how a lot of PlayStation users are absolutely brutally, just disappointed, myself included, the problems of the gaming world, and of course some of the little kind of cool gaming news as well. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, and leave a like if you guys agree, or your thoughts and comments if you disagree, and of course we have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. Let's dive into the video itself. So if you guys missed it, one of the most anticipated, at least in my opinion, crossover games or remakes or whatever, this is in regards now to the brand new Red Dead Redemption that's now finally hit the PlayStation 5. But sadly, even though people out here, like we're seeing right now, that Red Dead Redemption is currently the second biggest trending game on the entire, PlayStation platform, only just behind EA Sports FC 24. At the same time, you guys could always go and tell people like their soccer games, no matter what, especially in Europe especially. But right underneath that one is actually like the second place, and actually then went to first place as the day kind of went on. And as well, you can also see the Call of Duty, Spider-Man, and, other Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto 5. And you guys probably know these games are usually pretty well sought after when it comes to fans, to people who enjoy the games, people who have the consoles, or whatever it might be. But the one big thing to note is that no one is happy about this. Very big controversy going on because the game itself sucks. Now, not like the general game, but more still the actual port itself is very lackluster. There is no effort put into it, and people all around are just upset because it just is a really basic thing where they barely did any upgrades. They barely changed up anything at all. And this is where we've even had a chance to see, because people are now doing the deep dive where it's literally Red Dead Redemption on the PS4 and PS5 is a quote-unquote bare bones upgrade, according now to people doing the technical analysis. People were already upset about this on Reddit beforehand too, stating that this is almost abysmal that they're charging $50. $50, which, by the way, some brand new games, depending on the game, are not even in that price point. Or as well, if you want to look at a normal game, $60, $70, depending, usually $60. That's like a brand new AAA, proper, marketed, bug fixed, hopefully, game out there from this decade. Don't forget, Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010. 2010. Now, there is still a few upgrades for it, don't get me wrong, those few changes or whatever. It's very bare bones, and no one likes it. So as of right now, the 2010 Red Dead Redemption is available on the PlayStation consoles and Nintendo Switch. And as well, some people even compare it to the Xbox, where Xbox has the backwards capable versions, so in there they're slightly better. So on Xbox Series X and Xbox One, it already has a 4K presentation, 1440p on the Xbox Series S and PS5 and PS4. Several key improvements are actually evident, though, according to the game analysts as well. So there was some improvements and some quality of life changes, but it's just the bare bones where it's just not enough. So while a small list of enhancements are noticeable, Digital Foundry, who does a lot of this type of stuff, they do a lot of research in these games, noted that much more could have been done to improve a 13-year-old game. As the group explained, the Xbox, a backwards compatible version of Red Dead Redemption, is an Xbox 360 version edition of the game with a higher resolution, anastrophic filtering, and a negative LOD bias that enhances specific textures. So in theory, some of these things are good. Some of these things are actual, improvements. There was a little baby bit of effort. But I want to remind you guys, this is a 13-year-old game. This is Rockstar. And if you guys remember, the GTA trilogy that was re-released was also plagued with a lot of bugs, issues, and basically made a lot of people not happy. To the point where I myself wanted to go and play those games, and then I realized, what's the point? I'm sure a lot of folks are in that same boat. Some people liked it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of folks are very skeptical on that one. And this is kind of even worse, too, because people are upset about this. This is Rockstar. This is a big game company. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, huge games, millions of copies sold. Same with GTA. And so we almost have an actual expectation. We want these people to be the ground beacon of gaming. We want them to make that full-on remake. We want that thing that looks beautiful. We want that on the actual Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. and make it look good. But, I mean, they did do a few upgrades, so not that good. So while the PS4 version, which is used for the PS5 version, does have better shadows in comparison and a slightly different gamma presentation, the rest of the game looks much the same. So no major big changes. And people are upset because you're spending $50 on this, and this is a 13-year-old game. So between the two consoles, according to Digital Foundry, models still have a sharp, slightly blocky character, with 7th-gen polygon budgets. Digital Foundry's Oliver McKenzie explained, "I couldn't make out any improvements in textures either, and the game still suffers from some very low-res artwork. This is like disappointing. This is sad. This includes the main character whose muddy face should have been a high priority to improve." And I agree. Like, this is, like I said, your people are spending money on this. Even right now, it's still trending, although I wish it wasn't. Like, this is literally #1 as of right this second in the stores. Like, Red Dead Redemption, I'm sure you guys have heard the game. Like, I'm sure you guys either play the game too as well. But I just think the expectation should be so much higher for a company like Rockstar. It's disappointing to even see them be on top of this. It makes me so much sad. So, like, why? Like, why do I want to spend $50? Especially even for a Switch version of all things. Like, that probably looks horrible. Anyway, so they say, like, for this one, the LODs look about the same between the two releases, with grass extending far into the distance on both machines, but with some noticeable pop-ins at times as well. Another point noted in their analysis is that Red Dead Redemption's user interface hasn't been updated for modern displays, so resulting in 720p elements that haven't scaled well to 4K TVs when played on PS5 or the PS4 Pro. That's just gross. Like, there's like, I almost feel there's a lot of like oversights that we keep on noticing, and they just are maybe too lazy to, like, do they only have like a 5-person team working on this? And like, how long did it take? Like, was this like a 3-week project? Because I feel like at this point, like, there's some modders out there in the gaming community who could probably remake this themselves, like, even more efficient and better. And that's disappointing because it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So on last-gen PlayStations, the PS4 Pro version is the same as the PS5 version, and the base PS4 version is rendered at a native 1080p, looks sharp, and has more aliasing in comparison. Red Dead Redemption is still a great-looking game in a lot of respects, Digital Foundry said in its conclusion. Its wide-open plains and beautiful lighting looked very impressive at the time of release, and they still do hold up well, but once again, this is a very old-school game. Thankfully, it's almost like The Last of Us, although that was replaced and remade like 4 different times at this point, did have small noticeable improvements since then. One thing to know is that, like, this is Rockstar. Like, I want them to make this good. Like, if this was a proper remake, this would be probably blowing up the internet. It'd be going great. Like, people would be streaming it. People would be replaying for it. I'm sure even the multiplayer would be nice. Maybe they're trying to still maintain the integrity, maybe, of the, like, the actual, like, game 2, like Red Dead Redemption 2, maybe? I don't know, maybe they just want to make sure that multiplayer is still doing well, because I'm sure some people are still playing it, and of course, maybe making money off it too as well, maybe, possibly, and I'm sure they still have, like, the big cash cow, GTA 5, doing phenomenally well, but it just kind of seems, like, mediocre. Like, this is almost like a filler for their stockholders to be like, yeah, we did something this year, like, at least we were around for something, which is nice, like, I guess, but just people are not happy with this. A lot of folks are not happy. So I had a chance to go through some of these comments too, and people on Reddit are like, hey, like, some people are like making Reddit threads where they're like, hey, like, this is not even cool. It's not a remake, not a remaster, not a PS5 version, $50, physical's October 13th, and it's not even 60 FPS. It's the 2010 game without the multiplayer too as well. And people, like I said, are upset. Like, an outdated game simply being ported doesn't seem like a $20 price increase. It's justified. I agree. Like, this is horrible. Like, they're saying Best Buy was at $20 for base. Like, I mean, like sure, maybe. This enough for you could also play the Xbox 360 version on any modern Xbox console too. It's gonna run better too as well. And the port, because Xbox goes good, and the sale sometimes goes on sale for $10, so you can save money and it runs better. The fact that you can't even run this like a proper like 4K 60 FPS in a 13-year-old game too as well, it's also abysmal. They say this one really hurt. I was hoping for the remastered. I'm in the same boat. Then Rockstar started caring about the franchise again, and we also might get the next gen Red Dead Redemption 2. But no, they're saying this is literally the lowest effort possible here. They're trying to go and say they moved the story into Red Dead Redemption 2. They pay $50 for that one. And I said at the same time, they also have all these random engines as well that they could be utilizing. Like, they already made Red Dead Redemption 2. And people are like being like, yeah, this is the most pivotal moments in gaming for me. And people are just sad. Like, we're seeing things like there's not even like basically over here. It's the conversions for 4K 30 FPS too, which has new features and stuff, which is still nice, but it could be way better. Anyway, to wind down this one too, if you guys want, make sure you guys are subbed. There's also a brand new PSN store games under $20 sale kicks off too as well. If you guys want to go creep on any of the stores on top of this one. Alan Wake did unfortunately move their game back another 10 days, which is fine. Just want to make sure they have some space for the games. I'm totally okay with this one. Cannot wait to go and play this myself. And at the end of the day, I just hope that a lot of you guys do want to go check out Red Dead Redemption. Hopefully it'll still be a fun experience, but it still stings to spend that money on it. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below too as well if you guys would like to follow. And of course, I just appreciate you guys always so much for being a part of my life and my channel. We'll see you guys up in the next one, guys.